And the rain is here. It is likely to be a very messy commute this morning. The rain will be steady to heavy and the temperatures will be chilly. So it is a WRAL weather alert day. I'll show you when the rain moves out.
And we're staying on top of an overnight fire in downtown Raleigh. Teams work to put out the flames at the Raleigh Convention Center. We're going to bring you team coverage of the aftermath. Plus, cell phones in school. Your kids may have to cut them off in classrooms. The vote from Wake County school leaders that's happening today. Lots to get to this morning, including that overnight fire, as we just mentioned, at the Raleigh Convention Center. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. Thanks for joining us here. I'm Chris Levigan. But we do want to start with weather real quick because, as Elizabeth just said, it is a WRAL weather alert day. Talk a little bit about that next weather maker, Elizabeth.
Yeah, so it's here, and you can see a warm front down to the south. So that's where all the warm air is, and we're sitting in the chilly air mass. And so it's chilly out there this morning. It's not cold enough for snow. You can see the purple shaded areas back across the mountains. That's where there is an ice storm in progress. So they're not even really seeing snow. That's mostly freezing rain. You have to get way up to the north to actually see any snow. So we're going to see this pretty much all day. This is a look at downtown Raleigh from our Jimmy V camera, and you can see Fayetteville Street is wet this morning, and it is only 38 degrees. That's really not going to change this morning. So temperatures are going to be in the upper 30s to low 40s as you're stepping out the door, and the rain will be with us all morning long. It's 36 in Roxborough, 40 in Fayetteville, and 40 degrees in Goldsboro. Hour by hour, our forecast just stays chilly. At 8 a.m., 41 degrees. At lunchtime, 45. And gradually in the afternoon, the rain will taper off. So it shouldn't be as big an issue for the evening commute. We need the rain. I'll show you how much we could see before it ends.
You know, while we're talking about the rain there, Elizabeth, let's go ahead and give a live look at the road conditions this morning. In fact, WRAL's Laura Levine is live in the storm tracker this morning. Laura, where are you right now, and how is the rain so far?
Chris, good morning. Here in the WRAL Storm Tracker right now, we are traveling on I-40 East, and what we're dealing with is some really slick roads here in Raleigh. You can see our windshield wipers going at a pretty steady pace right now, that is. And although at 4:30 we have some light traffic here, we're already beginning to see some of that water gathering really beneath some tires with the vehicles in front of us. So, of course, if you're heading out on this Tuesday morning, please take your time because it is going to be a wet and slick morning commute. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
All right, let's go back to that team coverage this morning. After flames were shooting from the roof of the Raleigh Convention Center overnight, city officials say that a natural gas incident, that is what sparked the fire. And thankfully, no one was hurt. We want to begin with WRAL's Heidi Kirk. She's live at that scene. We'll be getting to Kelsey Coffey in just a moment. Heidi, teams worked for hours to get this under control.
Chris, that they did, and I think that video is something that's going to stick with all of us for a long time. But I want to show you what's going on out here right now. We've got caution tape here behind me and several fire crews still out here on this scene as we speak. Now, it's been a remarkably long night for these fire crews. Again, they've been here on the ground since last night, monitoring the convention center since the overnight hours. Now, go ahead and take a look at some of this video. We had about 50 firefighters out here on the ground getting this fire under control overnight. Now, city officials, again, call this a natural gas incident up on the roof of the convention center, but that exact cause is still under investigation. Now, we do know that there was a gas line that ruptured and it was feeding the fire, making it really challenging to put out. Last night, our crews were here on the with the division scene. He describes the extent of that damage.
As far as we know right now, it looks like there's no damage inside the building. It was all on the rooftop. As far as the extent of damage, it's pretty extensive, but it's mainly mechanical platforms.
And again, what's important to note here is there were no injuries in this fire. That is the good news here. Now, last night, the division chief did tell us that a lot of that investigation will take place this morning as soon as the sun comes up. Of course, we've got rain coming down here right now, so I'm sure that's going to present some challenges. But again, they're still out here on the scene. They have been all night long. We're going to continue checking in with them and monitoring this here on the ground. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And now we want to go ahead and bring in Kelsey Coffey for the next aspect of the story. Kelsey, we just heard him say that the damage is extensive, but mostly on the rooftop. So how will this affect events at the center?
Yes, Chris, that's the big question that we're asking now as several events are planned to happen throughout the week. You can see that it's still an active scene here where we are. We know that Heidi just showed you guys from a different perspective, but this here is the corner of McDowell and Lenore Street here. And we'll also just give you a live look here side by side so you can see from our live camera network the entire Raleigh Convention Center. It's really almost eerie seeing the convention center this dark, especially during the holidays. And now we're looking ahead to all of the events that are planned at the convention center over the next several days. A cybersecurity summit is planned for Wednesday and Thursday. A special holiday party is planned for Friday. And this here will impact a lot of Wake County families. 2 cheer competitions are planned for Friday and Saturday. We know that several Wake County schools are participating in those events. Now, officials say that the damage has been contained to the roof, so there could be a chance that these events could just go on as normal, but we'll be sure to monitor any of the social media pages for these events, as well as the convention center's website to keep you up to date. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And folks, as we continue to follow this developing story, download the WRAL News app. That way, you can be the first to know about any new information we learn. Also, be sure to turn on those push notifications so you can get the alert. We'll follow that story throughout the day here on WRAL, so you can look for coverage from our evening news team starting at 4 p.m. 10 students are recovering after their school bus flipped onto its side in Durham. Sky 5 was above Johnson Mill Road near Bahama as emergency teams were on scene yesterday. 20 students were coming home from Mangum Elementary when the bus went off the road. Parents raced to check on their children, and they were relieved to learn injuries were only minor. But some families tell us their children are afraid to go back on the bus.
I'm going to wait a couple weeks before I let her get back on it, just so she can heal from the traumatic process of what just happened.
Probably. I don't want to go to school.
Yeah, I don't blame you, baby. I wouldn't want to either.
And investigators say the bus driver will be cited for failing to maintain lane control. The crash remains under investigation. Today, a man accused of firing a gun near an elementary school in Cumberland County will make his first court appearance. Deputies say LaXavier Fowler fired shots near the Eastover Community Building yesterday afternoon. That is just 4 minutes from Armstrong Elementary. The school was briefly put on code yellow, but investigators say Fowler was never on campus. Deputies also found a loaded gun they say was stolen. And a vote the Wake County School Board is going to have tonight would mean cell phones and smart glasses would need to be turned off during class. The board is trying to comply with House Bill 959. That's a law that requires schools to have many restrictions on cell phone and social media use by January 1st. Also happening today, Raleigh City Council members will meet and talk about 2 big topics that would affect development in the city. The first topic, a North Hills rezoning plan that would allow buildings up to 37 stories near Six Forks Road. The second would be considering making the downtown Holiday Inn a historic landmark. You know that building right there on your screen. We'll be monitoring updates and bring you any information on new developments in this story. In Harnett County, 2 crime scenes 20 minutes apart involving 3 teenagers were connected. The sheriff's office was called to Scooter Lane on Sunday. This was around 3:45 p.m. That's where an 18-year-old had been shot, and investigators say he was walking along McDuffie Road in Cameron. That's when a car drove by and someone inside shot him. He was hit several times, but is expected to live. Now, 15 minutes later, just before 4 p.m., the Sanford Police Department notified Harnett 911. They responded to Palm Drive, where 2 people were shot. A 16-year-old was pronounced dead at that scene. A 20-year-old who was also injured said they were shot on or near Scooter Lane, but no arrests had been made. If you have any information about these shootings, you can call the Harnett County tip line. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem is calling for a full travel ban on certain countries. She posted her comments on social media after meeting with President Donald Trump yesterday, but it's unclear which countries could face restrictions. Her remarks were made after 2 National Guard members were shot in Washington, D.C. last week. One soldier died, and the other is still recovering in the hospital. The suspect is Rahmullah Lakunawan, and investigators say that he entered the U.S. in 2021 as part of the Biden administration's resettlement efforts. The National Guard soldier who survived that attack is now showing signs of improvement. West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey says Andrew Wolf is in serious condition, but he is responsive. He reportedly gave a thumbs up when a nurse asked if he could hear. D.C. police are now patrolling alongside Guard units for added security. Your time is 4:39 this morning. Healthcare deadlock. UNC and Cigna are unable to agree on a new contract. Where negotiations are headed and what this means for the insurers. And addictive foods. how ultra-processed foods are tricking our bodies into wanting more. And as Elizabeth said, today is a WRAL weather alert day. We're giving you a live look at a wet Fenton and Cary. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will show you how much rain we're going to get and when it will start to move out.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
It is 4:43, and we take a look at dual Doppler 5000 radar this morning. The rain is coming down, and it's going to be with us all the way through lunchtime. As we get into the afternoon, it should start to taper off. That does not help your travels this morning. It is messy out there. That rain will continue to come down all through the morning commute. You can see our chance for rain is 100% up through noon, and then after that, it begins to taper off. But it's not just the rain. It's the chilly temperatures that are going along with it that's making this feel really miserable. We have the top of the tower lit, of course, in green for rain this morning. You're going to run into wet conditions everywhere. But look at the temperatures. Right now, we're in the upper 30s in the triangle, and we'll gradually climb into the mid 40s by lunchtime, and we'll see 48 for the high later on this afternoon. After that, for Wednesday, things are looking good, but we're watching some interesting weather that could be shaping up for Friday. I'll check that out coming up. Chris?
All right, we'll come back to you in a little bit, Elizabeth. Thank you. Congressman Don Davis is filing for re-election. Davis was one of dozens of political hopefuls who made their intentions known when Republicans redrew the voting map, hoping to add another Republican seat in the House of Representatives. Well, he was drawn out of his district. He has to move in order to have a chance at winning the election. You can find more of our coverage over on WRAL.com. Tens of thousands of Cigna members now face tough choices about their health care. Cigna and UNC Health have not reached a new contract. Their previous deal expired Sunday at midnight, and that means about 65,000 patients could soon pay out-of-network prices. Patients such as Beth Reed worry families could lose long-trusted providers.
One of my children has a long-standing medical condition, and they've been seeing the same doctors at UNC since they were 5, literally. It's been a long time, and we've built up a lot of trust with those physicians, and we really want to be able to keep seeing them.
Both sides say negotiations continue, and Cigna says it has offered to extend the current contract. UNC says it's pushing for a deal that matches agreements with other insurers and supports high-quality care for patients. New research is diving deeper into why ultra-processed foods are so addictive. WRAL health reporter Grace Haba spoke with a UNC nutritionist about this, and they say the U.S. is far behind other countries in taking action.
UNC nutritionists are part of a new 3-part series that looks at ultra-processed foods and global food laws. To put it simply, they say the U.S. food market isn't designed to keep consumers healthy, and Americans are paying the price.
Rates of obesity, diabetes, and high blood pressure continue to rise nationwide. And research shows ultra-processed foods play a major role.
Food is everywhere.
Barry Popkin, a nutrition professor with UNC Chapel Hill, is part of new research that says that's not by mistake.
It's omnipresent in our life. We're not able to change that by just telling people, use your willpower.
Popkin says ultra-processed foods are deconstructed down to almost a cellular level, part of what keeps people coming back for more.
The way this is done makes the food super digestible. So we go through it very quickly and we're hungry again. And that leads, along with the additives, to why psychologists are calling these addictive foods.
The series also looked at what has happened in countries that have taken action. Researchers found laws in Chile were tied to a 33% drop in purchases of sugar, a nearly 25% drop in sodium, and 16% drop in saturated fats. Popkin says it's proof food policies can work and that the U.S. is falling behind.
We need the same kinds of controls in the U.S. if we are going to make any headway reducing all the health problems that we're seeing.
Grace Haba, WRAL News.
A CDC study this year found more than half of the calories Americans eat come from ultra-processed foods. Think about that. RDU is adding several nonstop flights next year. Discount airline Breeze will offer direct flights to Bangor, Maine, Vero Beach, Florida, and New York's Stewart International Airport. The nonstop services start May 6th, and both the Florida and Maine flights will be through the summer. Fayetteville has officially sworn in its new city leaders, and that includes Mayor Mitch Colvin. He won his 5th term back in November. 9 council members were also sworn in, including 3 new members. If you didn't see it, K&W Cafeteria, it is closing all of its locations effective immediately, and that includes the locations on Bastion Lane in Raleigh and North Wesleyan Boulevard and Rocky Mount. 2 locations were the only ones still open locally. There were others across the state, including 2 in Greensboro and 1 in Burlington. All right, don't forget, Holiday Express opens today at Palm Park in Raleigh, a wonderland of fun activities for families. There are lots of Christmas decorations, crafts, holiday lights, and of course, visits from Santa and Mrs. Claus. The train is running too. Holiday Express runs every night through December 18th from 5 p.m. until 9:30 p.m. And WRAL is a proud sponsor of that event.
And it is sold out.
Sold out?
I mean, it goes like Taylor Swift tickets.
Well, it's hard to, I'm hoping people have fun who are able to get tickets, Elizabeth, but I hear you talking about this rain. What's going to be the situation if people want to go? This is a live look right now from the storm tracker on the roads.
Yeah, so they have tickets for Holiday Express tonight. It looks like the rain is over by then. It may still be a little wet out there, but it's not going to be pouring on you like it is this morning. The storm tracker is out there just looking at these really messy conditions. This is going to be with us all morning. It doesn't really start to taper off until right after lunchtime. So all morning, all the way through noon, we're not getting out of it, unfortunately. And it's chilly, too, to go along with it. Let's take a look at the big picture. It is a weather alert day, so we're not likely to see flooding. The rain will not be so heavy that it's going to cause some flooding issues, but it's definitely going to be disruptive to the morning commute. Ken Smith coming in to talk more about the backups that are bound to happen in this kind of weather. The rain begins to taper off afternoon, but it stays chilly for it today. And kids who want to be out of school, no chance of that today. All the snow is well to our north. There is a wintry mix. It's mostly freezing rain that's happening in the mountains of North Carolina, but we're not going to see that here either. Our temperatures are going to be in the upper 30s to low 40s this morning. Nothing frozen, but widespread rain all across the viewing area right now. So we'll just run through Futurecast. It's going to be the same there at 7 a.m. Notice it looks like it even gets heavier as we get closer to maybe 10 or 11 o'clock. And then after that, we start to see it breaking up during lunch hour and then gradually sliding out of here. So it does look nice and dry by the evening commute. As a matter of fact, we may see a few peaks of sunshine, but still not very warm and just a messy, messy day. This is a live look from our Jimmy V camera down Fayetteville Street, and you can see wet conditions there. Nobody's out and about. It is 38 degrees, and we're just going to sit here for a while. 40 in Fayetteville, 37 South Hill, 40 in Goldsboro, so it's just cold and wet everywhere. We'll see highs in the upper 40s in the Triangle and around 51 in Fayetteville. Our rain chances, once we get past this afternoon, drop right off. Fortunately, we are dry for Wednesday for our tower lighting celebrations as well as Thursday. But Friday into Saturday, we're looking at some precipitation, and there are some hints that some of our northern counties might see a wintry mix. So we're going to take a closer look at that in just a little while. Our normal high is 58, so our highs are below normal all the way through the next 7 days. And for our tower lightings, we're going to be nice and dry. Temperatures will be festively chilly, 40 in Raleigh, 39 in Durham, and 40 in Rocky Mount. We welcome you to come join us for the festivities at any of our locations. We're going to see so much fun. Again, today, though, is a WRAL weather alert day. We'll be nice and bright Wednesday and Thursday. Coming up, we're going to talk more about who could see a bit of wintry mix and what we're talking about.
A lot of people want to know that. Thank you, Elizabeth. Your time is 4:51. Holidays in Hollywood, Lady A's new Christmas album, and a first look at the first snow of Fraggle Rock. We'll show you what's next in entertainment. Plus, Hilary Duff in Vegas. The details of her headlining show in more than a decade. The Powerball jackpot is even bigger. It is now $775 million after no one won the grand prize last night. The winning numbers were 5, 18, 26, 47, and 59, with the Powerball being 1, just in case you missed it. The next drawing is Wednesday night, right here on WRAL, just before our 11 o'clock newscast. You know, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas in the entertainment world. David Daniels sees what's under the tree in today's Hollywood Minute.
Elton John's Yuletide classic Step Into Christmas is officially platinum. The Recording Industry Association of America has certified the 1973 song has sold more than 1 million copies. It's triple platinum in the UK, where it's re-entered the charts every December since 2011.
Later on, we'll conspire as we dream by the fire to face unafraid the plans that we made, walking in a winter wonderland.
Lady A is out with their first new Christmas album in more than a decade. The country pop trio is supporting On This Winter Night Volume 2 with their first ever Christmas tour, launching Friday in Atlanta, Georgia.
Let's start the holidays!
I can't wait for the snow!
Here's your first look at the first snow of Fraggle Rock. Gobo heads to outer space, the human world, looking for inspiration for his annual holiday song. The first snow of Fraggle Rock falls Friday on Apple TV. Making hot chocolate in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Looks like Hilary Duff is going to Las Vegas. The pop singer will hit the Venetian Resort stage for 3 nights during Valentine's Day weekend. This will be her first headlining show in more than a decade. It's part of her 2026 Small Rooms Big Nerves tour. The tour will line up with the release of her new album, set to release on February 20th. And hey, don't forget to get into the holiday spirits with a 67-year-old WRAL tradition. The countdown is ticking away to the WRAL Tower Lighting Special. We will light the Lucky Strike Tower on the American Tobacco campus in Durham, the tower at Rocky Mount Mills, and of course, the TV tower here on Western Boulevard. So we hope you join us Wednesday night at 7 on WRAL. Ahead at 5 o'clock, Raleigh Convention Center fire. We're going to have live team coverage on where that investigation is this morning and how this could affect future events in the future in downtown. And cell phones in schools. The vote from Wake County school leaders that could force your kid to cut them off during class.